Hi guys, Vanessa here. So I just wanted to come on here and just to encourage someone in the body of Christ, This is something that I went through last week and I think it will probably help someone somewhere. Okay, so sometime last week, I felt really overwhelmed with the duties and responsibilities that God had let me steward over. Okay, so sometime last week, I really felt unqualified to even be managing some of these roles. I felt overwhelmed. I felt tired. I felt angry. I felt basically very unqualified. And so when I was having my worship session last week, I just basically just started crying to God. And I told him, God, I don't know why you've even let me steward over some of these things. Why do you still want me to continue stewarding over some of these things that you've given me? They're so heavy, so burdensome. And I was just kept on reminding God, and I was telling him, look, I'm underqualified. I'm not qualified for this. And I would give him excuses. I would tell him, I'm not cut out for this. You see, I can't do this. How am I supposed to do this? And it reached a point where it was almost like I was literally second guessing myself and asking myself whether I should still continue managing over some of these roles, Like at that point, honestly, I was really like, I literally feel like quitting. And whilst I was crying and in the midst of all this worship and just telling God and complaining, literally, God just spoke over me and he said, I don't want you to be qualified. I want you to be available. And it just sank very deeply what he said. It hit a spot in my heart and it was like, wow. For a minute, I stopped looking at myself and I looked at the bigger picture. I saw God. I saw the hand of God over my life. And I began rebuking myself for even thinking that I could steward and manage these roles without the help of God. And so I had to completely sort of convict myself and come to the realization that all this while it's been him, and all he's asking me to do is to be available for him. God was not asking me to be qualified and to have a PhD in God knows what. All he wanted was for me to be available and to be willing to accept what he had given me to steward. And so I want to speak straight up to anyone who's listening to me right now. I just want to tell you, God does not care if you have a PhD in God knows what. He does not care if you are literally the most quiet person in class. He does not care if you stammer while speaking. He does not care if you think you are worth less. He does not care if you feel like you're not beautiful. When God calls you, he expects you to put all that aside. Will you be available for Jesus? Because he does not want your qualifications. See, this is the goodness with God. He does not need your qualifications to prove that he is God. Through him working in you, you who feel that you are unqualified, that is how God is exalted in himself. And so I just want to tell you right now, do not look at where you are. Do not look at your position. When God instructs or tells you to sort of move at a certain direction, however big and absurd it may sound, I want you to just be available for God. Because there is so much he wants to do through you. He just needs a soul that's available for him. Okay, so if Moses decided to quit the works that God had literally sent him out to go and do, he would not be in the Bible. God would have got another person to continue in his work. And so why miss such an amazing opportunity because of your unbelief? So that's all I had to share today. I just want to encourage whoever is watching this video. Step out into what God has called you to do. It may sound ridiculous. Most times it does not make sense. It really does not. But I just want you to step out and see how glorious and mighty the Lord is. It says he confounds the wise with the foolish things. He uses the foolish things to confound the wise. And so allow yourself to be the foolish thing that he uses. I mean, who wouldn't want to? Okay, so that's all I wanted to tell you today. I'll repeat it again. God does not want you to be qualified. He wants you to be available for him. God does not want you to be qualified. He wants you to be available.